is we are going to do for the whole remedial class. We are going to do like revision on what all those topics that you learned this year lah. Okay, so so for example, like this first question, you're asked to simplify. Okay, simplify the expression. You can see that this one got no fraction, and then this one, the first one is actually square of something. Okay, the square of something, and this one also square of something. So if you want to simplify, means that you've got to expand out both of them. Okay, expand out both of them, and then try to see the like terms put together and so on. Okay, so here this is a perfect square. So this perfect square, a plus b squared, will be a squared, which is 4x squared, minus, this is minus because this is minus here, so you have 20x and then plus 25. So you see a perfect square should always contain three terms. The first term is always the square of this number, the second the last term is always the square of the second number, and then the middle term is a product of the two, then times 2. Okay, then minus away 2 times, okay, the square again, and then the 9 again, and then the middle term is 12x. Okay, so here I have 3 multiplied to it, and then I have 2 multiplied to it, so I have 12x squared minus 60x plus 75 minus 8x squared minus 24x minus 18. So I group the x squared with the x squared, so I have 4x squared. Okay, and then I group these two together, which is negative 84x, and then when I group these two together, I get what? 57? Am I having 57? Yeah, so do you get the same answer? Okay, when you get the same answer already, please don't go and factorize and then try to make it into a product of something. Okay, when it says simplify, means like this one, the term of x squared, the term of x, the term of 57, that's all. Okay, done. Okay, second question is when you have a fraction. Okay, and then the fraction, you can say, okay, your purpose is to simplify. When you want to simplify, means you have to do it as simple as possible, and you actually can see that the numerator actually can be factorized, having a common factor of 3. So when 3 is factorized out, so you have 3 times p plus 4. So this is what you have for the numerator. For the denominator is a quadratic expression, and quadratic expression, it contains 3 terms. So when it contains 3 terms, it is you can see that it's not perfect square. Why is it not perfect square? Because this term, the last term, the constant term, is not a positive number. It must be a positive number, right? So it is not a perfect square. So when it's not a perfect square, you have to do by the cross method. So you put pp and then 4 and 1. So if you want the middle term to be a positive 3, that means you have to put a positive here and a negative here, so that when this multiply together is negative 4, this multiply together is p squared. You're getting 4p minus p, which is 3p. So it fits very well. So you have p plus 4 and p minus 1. You can also say, okay, on top here I already have p plus 4. That means my numerator must also contain of p plus 4 also. In order to simplify, if it doesn't have anything in common, then what's there to simplify? There's nothing to simplify. Understand or not? So this kind is like more like of common sense. Okay, common sense, you know, okay, here have p plus 4, here must also have something p plus 4. So here you simplify by dividing, so you divide the numerator and denominator by p plus 4. So these two terms are gone. So this is the simplest form. Cannot simplify anymore. So that's the answer. Okay, so the next question is, how do you make use of algebraic expression to help to solve this question? Okay, so help to solve this question. So here you see that the common factor is 7.54. So when you bring 7.54 out, you're going to get 72 plus 28. Okay, and then, okay, this one is when you have like AB plus AC. So you bring the A out, so which is a common factor. Whereas the denominator is just like A squared minus B squared. Okay, so square minus square. So square minus square, you always have to put a plus, a minus. So you put a plus and you put a minus. Okay, so here numerator, there's a 100. Okay, times 7.54. Don't multiply in because there may be terms that you can simplify. Can you see what I'm writing here? Am I blocking? Can see, okay. Okay, so remind me when it's out of screen. Okay, so here I have this is 10, okay, and then this is what? 7.54. Am I right? You see, 7.54, 7.54, same numbers. This is 10, 110, so your answer is a 10. Okay, so it can be simplified into something very simple. Okay, question 2b, again want to simplify, right? Okay, so to simplify, can you see? Yes, okay, so we see that we don't bring the outside first. We actually can see that 3 to the power 0 is just 1. So 1 raised to the power of anything, okay, is just 1. Okay, so next one, 9 raised to the power of -2. So when it's -2, when it's negative power, so we want to get rid of negative, we will put 1 over 9 and 2 here. So can you see my number 9 and 2 still remain? Only thing is that I take the reciprocal of this number here, so which is 1, 9 now. Okay, so 1 raised to the power, okay, if you want, you can say 1 over 1, which is, again, is going to be 1. So this is going to be 1 upon 81. So your answer will be 1 and 1 upon 81. So that's the answer. Okay, so this are indices. So this question more on using negative power. Okay, negative power. Okay, next one, 10x minus 1 over x and then plus 3. How do we solve this equation? You can see that you're going to get quadratic equation. Okay, so you can see the numerator, the denominator here is x. Okay, so when the denominator is x, you're going to multiply x throughout. So you're going to have 10x squared minus 1 equals to 3x. So 10x squared minus 3x minus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so you see, from something with fraction, we change into something without fraction already. And you see, again, this contains 3 terms. So we either go by perfect square method or go by the cross method. So perfect square, this one unlikely because 10 is not perfect square. This is also not perfect square. So that means we have to use the cross method. So when you use the cross method, only way is 5x, 3x. Am I right? And no, 5x, 2x. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. So 5x, 2x multiply together to get 10x squared. And then now I have a negative. I want the middle term to be negative, so I need to put a negative 1 here and a positive 1 here. So that when I multiply, I get 2x and minus 5x. So together is negative 3x. Okay, so here we have 5x plus 1 and 2x minus 1 equals to 0. So when this one times this equals to 0, we're going to use the null factor law. When two factors multiply together and then we get 0, that means one of them must be 0. So either the first one is a 0 or the second one is a 0. If the first one is a 0, x is negative 1/5. If the second one is a 0, x will be half. So therefore, our answer is x is equals to negative 1/5 or x equals to half. Okay, next, another quadratic equation. Look at the denominator, x minus 1 and x squared minus 1. Now x squared minus 1 can be factorized to be x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay, so now we have x minus 1 as one factor at one denominator. Another one is x minus 1 times x plus 1. So the common denominator will be this one. So common denominator will be this. So when we multiply this to the both sides, we are going to get 4 into x plus 1. And then we multiply the same thing here, so you're going to get x. So you realize that actually when you do this, it becomes a linear equation already. Okay, so linear equation 4x plus 4 equals to 1. Okay, so 4x plus 4 equals to 1. So 4x equals to negative 3. X will be equals to negative 3/4. Okay, so this is 3C. Okay, question 4. For this question, you are asked to explain why is there no solution. Okay, why is there no solution for this pair of simultaneous equation? Okay, why is there no solution? So how do we explain that there's no solution? Okay, the only way that it has no solution is that when the two lines are parallel. Okay, you see, whenever we have two straight lines, either the two lines are parallel or they intersect at one point, or they actually the same line. Okay, so if they are actually the same line, there's infinitely many solutions. Okay, if they intersect at one point, of course there's only one solution, and if they are parallel, that means there's no solution because they will never meet. Okay, so how do we explain? So this equation is already in the y equals to mx plus c form. So from the first equation, we are going to rewrite it. Okay, so from first equation we rewrite it. Yeah.
We cannot see the top.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, Hannah? Okay, so from the first equation, we have 4x minus 2y is 10. So I'm going to rewrite it into 2y. Imagine that you're putting the 2y to the other side. So it's 2 negative become positive, right? Or you can say add 2y to both sides, right? And I'm going to remove this one to the other side, so I subtract 10. So I'm going to get 2y equals to 4x minus 10. Okay, everyone has a common factor of 2, so I'm going to divide all by 2. So I have 2x minus 5. So can you see this equation and this equation? Okay, y is 2x minus 3, y is 2x minus 5. So both equations, okay, both equations have the same gradient, right? So same gradient means what? Okay, they have the same gradient, so we have to check whether actually they're the same line or not. But they have different y-intercept. Okay, they have different y-intercept because here the first one, the y-intercept is at -3, and the other one is at -5. So this is -3 and the other one is -5. So therefore, -3, -5, so they have same gradient but different y-intercept. So therefore, we can say that, okay, the equation, the two lines are parallel lines. Okay, so when they are parallel lines, that means there is no intersection point. Okay, hence no solution. They don't intercept. They don't intercept means you are not able to solve it. Okay, so there's no intersection. Okay, next question. You have y equals to 4 plus 3x minus x squared. You want to find the x-intercept and y-intercept. Whenever you want to find the x-intercept, okay, look at the x-intercept. When we want to find x-intercept, means the y value must be equals to 0 because it is where the point cuts the x-axis. So that means the y value, you see y at different position will have different values, right? So when it reaches the x-axis, that means the y equals to 0. Okay, so at x-intercept, okay, y is equals to 0. So when y equals to 0, you have 4 plus 3x minus x squared equals to 0. I usually like to write the x squared to be positive so that when I do my factorization, this part I always don't need to go and adjust. I only adjust this side. Okay, so this xx, so I'm adjusting the 4 and 1. Okay, I will put minus 4 and plus 1. Okay, minus 4 and plus 1. So I actually will end up with negative 4x and then plus x. So together will be negative 3x, which is this middle term. Okay, so here I will factorize it to x minus 4 times x plus 1 equals to 0. So the product equals to 0. That means x minus 4 is 0 or x plus 1 equals to 0. So x is 4 or x is negative 1. Okay, so this is for x-intercept. So therefore the coordinates, okay, of x-intercept, okay, are, Okay, one of them is 4, 0. The other one is negative 1, 0. Okay, then what about the y-intercept? At y-intercept, it is actually easier. Okay, at y-intercept, the x equals to 0. So when x equals to 0, so y will be equals to 4. Okay, so therefore, the coordinates of the y-intercept is actually equals to 0 and 4. So I have this and this as my answer. You got the same? Got it? Clear now? Okay, next question. Negative power. Okay, negative power. So this is supposed to be 3 over 2 raised to negative power. Okay, this one I'll have 9 upon 16 because it's 3/4 times 3/4. Then divide by, okay, this one I can change it to 1 over negative 2 to the power 2 because I'm changing the negative power to be positive. I'm changing the negative power to be positive. So, sorry, I think you can't see. I'm changing the negative power to be positive, so I take the reciprocal. Okay, so here actually I'm getting 1/4 here, but because it's divide, so later you got to flip it. So this one is, I flipped it to become square like this. Okay, so this will be 4 over 9 times 9 over 16. Divide means times 4. Okay, the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4. So therefore, you now have answer which is 1. Which is 1. Okay, next, solving simultaneous equation. Okay, actually, personally, I prefer to solve simultaneous equation using elimination method. But for this question, I would use substitution method. Why is it I'm using substitution method? It's because I can see that from the first equation, I can write y to be 5x minus 3. Okay, so I can use this y equals to 5x minus 3 to put into the second equation. So I have 8x plus, so I substitute, okay, 1a into equation 2. So I have 8x plus 3 times 5x minus 3 equals to 14. So 8x plus 15x minus 9 equals to 14. So I have 23x equals to 23. So x is 1. So when x is 1, so substitute x equals to 1 into equation 1a. I'm going to get y is 5x. X is 1 minus 3. I think it's black out, right? Can you see? Yeah. So y is equals to 2. So here x is 1, y is 2. Okay, so this is question 7. Oh, we are a bit short of time. Okay, I think I had to overspill a little bit now, sorry. We've tried to finish it. If not, tomorrow we have other things to do. Okay, next one. Try to factorize. Okay, factorization with two terms usually is either bringing out common factor, or the other one is go by a squared minus b squared equals to a plus b times a minus b. Okay, so here I bring out common factor first. I'll come back for something. Okay, I bring out common factor first. In this case, the common factor will be x will be 2. So 2x. Okay, so this is 36 now. Right? 36x. Then minus y. Is that all? Is that all? That's all, right? So that means I'm actually doing the bringing out common factor. That's all. Cannot do any more already. Okay, there's no more common factor here already. Okay? Then the next one, p squared minus 16q squared. So you see the square. So isn't it using this method, a squared minus b squared? So I'm going to say, I'm going to have p squared and minus 4q squared. See, square of this, which is this one. So I'll have p plus 4q times p minus 4q. And I'm done. Okay, so this is by the second method. Now the third one, here it is not arranged. Okay, so we try to arrange them. 4m squared and 3n squared. And the middle term is the product of the two. Can you see? I'm trying to put this m and m, okay, 4m, 4n. So am I doing 4m? Should I? Okay, I think I need to do 2m, 2m. 2m times 2m is 4m squared. You see, I put this square here to be at the back. To be at the back. Okay, so that I'm adjusting these two, the 4m squared and 4n squared. So I'm adjusting these two. This one is the middle term that I'm trying to get, negative 8. Okay, how I get negative 8? When I put this to be negative, this to be negative, I'm getting 6mn, negative 6mn. This one, negative 2mn. So together, I have negative 8mn. Okay, so here I have 2m minus n times 2m plus 3n. And that's all. Okay, factorize already. So all the three questions using three different methods to do. The first one is bringing out common factor. The second one is go by the sum and difference. And then the third one, number 10. Okay, number 10, what can you read the question? They asked